Well, hey, and welcome back to Focus. Something I'm sure we can all agree on is that COVID has changed the way we connect with people, it's changed how we interact, and ultimately it's disconnected us from people to a certain degree. Now, with disconnection comes isolation, which, let's be honest, we've all experienced, feelings of being alone, and feeling lonely. Now, hey, the truth is, I'm sure if we're honest with ourselves, that all of us have felt alone and lonely over this pandemic on certain occasions. But I came across something in my Bible the other day from a dude called Julio. Now, I absolutely love that name. What an awesome name, Julio. But hey, I'm just going to read it for you. Now, your story is going to look quite a bit different from his, but there's going to be a few things in there that you might kind of relate to. So let's just check it out. So, this is what Julio, how art thou, Julio? This is what Julio writes. Love that name. Okay, here we go. He says, when my family moved from Mexico to the US, everything familiar to me was gone. I had to learn a new language, adjust to a totally different way of doing things. I had to make new friends with people who kind of seemed like they grew up on a completely different planet rather than in a different country. I was very, very lonely for a long time. I turned often to the Bible. So many verses were meaningful to me, but Isaiah 46 verse 4 especially helped because it spoke of God's tender care and how he would be with me always, even when I'm old. I would imagine God right there with me in this strange school, and I'd talk to him in my heart, telling him how I felt. It was a great comfort to know that he was right there with me and that he cared. I knew he heard my prayers and understood. This experience has brought me closer to God, as I depend on him every day for understanding and the help I need to make this adjustment. Now, hey, I wonder whether that sounds familiar, having to make adjustments to different ways of doing things. I mean, come on, that is kind of what this whole year has been, isn't it? Feeling alone as well, like he talks about. But he finds great comfort in this verse, which is Isaiah 46 verse 4, and this is what it says. I will be your God throughout your lifetime, until your hair is white with age. I made you, and I will care for you. I will carry you along and save you. So what a great verse that is. Julio really found comfort in the fact that God cared for him. And not just that he cared for him, but that he was actually right there with him. In those feelings of loneliness, in that time where he was alone and frustrated with the changes he was having to make. Now, hey, the good news is for you today that God is with you in those changes too. Now, once we begin to understand that truth, it really helps us to change our perception of what being alone is like. Because as a child of God, you are never truly alone. You may be disconnected from people, but you have a connection to God at all times. In the times where people come and people go, God stays the same. God always cares, and God is always there. I wonder whether you believe that today, though. Whether you believe that God is with you. Whether you believe that actually he goes with you throughout your day, that his presence surrounds you, and that you can call on him whenever you need him. I love this psalm from David. It's Psalm 139, starting from verse 7. It says, I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the grave, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning. What a phrase. If I ride the wings of the morning. If I dwell by the farthest oceans. Even there your hand will guide me, and your strength will support me. I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night. But even in darkness, I cannot hide from you. To you the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. Now if we skip down to verse 17. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. David realized that there was nowhere he could go to escape the presence of God. That wherever he went, God was right there. Today, if you call yourself a child of God, that same thing is true for you. God is with you always. And not just with you, like Julio said, he cares for you too. So the next time you're feeling alone, the next time you're feeling a little bit lonely, why not invite the presence of God into that situation? Invite Him to bring you comfort. It's in those moments when we invite God's presence into our situation that we really begin to experience Him.